Our forefathers just a mere century ago would see us today as gods. But yet, in all our abundance, we didn't expect a single global event could divide the world. Perhaps our instinct to survive finally turned us against each other. As politicians consolidated their powers, the elites counted upon their wealth for salvation, retreating as if in preparation for what's to come. In the absence of leadership, we turned to anarchists for a change. But instead, we burned our world to the ground. We wanted to start over, but all we did was choose one dictator over another. Nations, heritages, cities we once knew fell before our eyes. The rise of anarchy swept through the world, one continent at a time. Smaller nations were left in ruins. Still, others survived. Behind the quiet walls, they contemplated their future. Soon after, a new unity was formed. From the ashes of the ruins, they rise, those who seek to restore order. The GSF intends to bring peace, a good old-fashioned means of might and fortitude. Rebuilding broken worlds with heart for the people. Punishing those who seek to harm the innocent. The elites of the old world, returning from their exile, developed far ingenious means, rejuvenating the world with science and innovation. Cold and efficient, both in combat and principle, and when necessary, blood is often replaced with steel. But make no mistake, the distrust of the past still haunts both divides. In this new frontier, only one will prevail. The victor will shape the world as they see fit. The question is, who do you fight for?
Fellow Eximius enthusiasts all worldwide, welcome to the Eximius Siege the Frontline Season 2 Nemesis Spring Rumble. My name is Lennon Lee, also known as YOLO, and joining me once again for a very long time as well, it's going to be Flavor, the one who has been leading the chart so far here in the community scene. Flavor, my friend, how have you been doing so far?
I have not been doing so well until I saw you coming over today and joining us here
My
at the
heart.
hosting seat. Right? Yeah, that's how my day has been. I'm overexcited. It's been a while since we're back with more actions here happening. Eximius sees the front lines, and this time about we are going to be featuring the Spring Rumble Nemesis. Now, this is going to be quite a blast because we're going to be featuring some top renowned teams that you guys might be familiar with competing for a really nice sum of prize pool for this competition. What do we have to offer for this event, Leonard, for our winners?
It's really amazing because for this community event alone, we have a lot of new additions. But first thing first, we're gonna go through the prize pool here. We have a total prize pool of 1,500 USD for our prize pool, and of course, whoever is the champion will be walking away with $750. Second place is gonna be 500, and third is gonna be 250. But you know, Flavor, as much as cool as the prize pool is for our fellow players and teams to win for, there are also new system or rules that has been amplified to make this event in particular very different from the last, and that's going to be our recently new added veterinary system.
Yep, that is correct, Leonard. Before we go through all of that, let's have a look at the bracket, shall we? And let's have a look at the six teams competing for this championship. Now, here we are featuring in round number one. We'll be having the match between Team 01 versus with Straight to Hell in match number one for round number one. And coming up right after will be Team MBT Naga versus with RN Jesus in match number two. And awaiting these two teams will be Team The Funky United Clown. But of course, we're going to call it the Funky Clowns. And of course, in the lower bracket itself, we're going to be seeing Team Satan. And coming back to the point on the new veterinary point system right here, we just want to highlight that the teams are actually seeded based on each member's player's veterancy points. Basically, every single individual within the teams have their own veterancy points. So, for example, if you have obtained first or second place in any previous tournaments, excluding the invitationals, you have obtained yourself 3 points for that individual. But of course, if you manage to get third or fourth place in any previous tournaments, excluding any of the invitational we had so far through Eximius Sees the Frontlines, you get 2 points. And from the point system itself, we managed to clarify that basically the Funky Clowns as well as Team Satan are the top two teams to be seeded to round number 2 directly, whereas the other teams will be going up against each other in round number 1.
It's really great as well, because at least in this way you can sort of control what kind of teams that will be participating in the tournament, the tournament or the event itself. It wouldn't be like so super stacked where you have like 5 previous same member who has been winning tournament and tournament time after time again. Now it seems that it can be a little bit more balanced than usual. Since there is a maximum limit of total scores and the team should be having before participating in any of this current or
That is so
upcoming
true.
event after this.
Yep, that's so true. And also, it will benefit players who have actually had great achievements in previous tournaments itself. So, therefore, this
Mhm.
is truly a great system coming on from the game
It
devs
is.
of the game itself. But of course, let's not waste any time on the explanation anymore. Let's head on over to the vetoes for the first match right here. Wow, we're going straight into it. There we have it. On Axron Industries will be Team 01, and on GSI will be having Team Straight to Hell. Whew. So I guess the
It's really
man.
cool. Yeah, you were saying,
Yep.
sorry?
Yeah, so basically the bans are already in. So I'm guessing they banned Town Square, and actually I missed out on what was the
Yeah, it
actual
was
ban
so
that was already been
fast.
said. Yeah, so fast. I didn't even catch which one was the map itself. My apologies. It's okay. All right. So yeah.
Yeah, but
So
okay, never mind. We brought
basically,
it back.
yep, that's true. So Team 01 banning off Town Square, Team Straight to Hell banning off Crossing, and of course the random map will be an Academy. So based on the pick itself, the map pick is going to be Sunday Mall. That's going to be our first match of the day itself. So excited, so excited. I'm not really a big fan of Sunday Mall, to be honest. In any way, it's a
Really?
map that I really want to stray away from in most cases.
That's interesting, right? Because like I get it if you really didn't like Sunday Mall for the previous design, because right now Sunday Mall actually the map itself actually previously had went through a revamp. Now the resources on both sides is definitely it seems a lot more balanced in terms of who gets what and who are able to achieve either way. It it was. It wasn't like the previous map where like you had to decide which one you prefer, right? Where you decided where you want to prioritize on those points more on B and C and have less resources, or do you want to just maintain on A side, which has the majority of the resource nodes? Now it's a little bit more balanced, a little bit more fair on both sides here. There's also a few little gimmicks as well, where now there's some areas for B and C, mirror-wise, by the way, able to have access to the roof. Previously, there was a lot of like skyboxes added to enable those ace vanguards and not to get on top of the roof to get that vantage point. Now it seems like everyone gets that opportunity.
Yeah, I'm really glad they actually made a revamp on this. I think it's just to make the game more exciting at the same time as well. Because before
Mm-hmm.
this, it was kind of tough because B and C was kind of like a hotspot, and then like
Yeah.
A is like way over there, and then like okay, like do we fight for this or we'll just take our pick on the A? That's where all the fight is going on. It's always on a B and C,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can't go there, like A is the best place for you to obtain, and you have to go all the way to the left side to actually go for A. But actually, as for a map, it has loads of resources for both sides right here. Nine credit points. So basically, you even have 3 energy points, 3 supplies. And basically, if you guys are not aware of this, usually for different maps, they actually have different amount of base turrets. So for this one,
Yep.
you'll be having 4, not as much as some of the other maps that we have, which is a cap of 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but
Yep.
I'm excited on the kind of gameplay because at the start of the game, we're gonna be seeing the kind of divisions that each team will be picking, and they have no clue what the other team's gonna be picking. So this is gonna be exciting.
It definitely is, and just now from the previous map veto as well, I wasn't too surprised seeing the straight to Hell banning out crossing as they go toe to toe with Team 01. Mainly because of the fact that there are two specific members, two core members in Team 01 here who goes by the name, of course, by H-Bomb and Pikitoka. And if anyone who has been in the community and played against them or played with them, every commander knows those two are more feared for hitting those resource nodes. And having a map like Crossing, which is so massive, just having these two guys running around the field, having the time of their life, aiming for those resource nodes is gonna be quite the pain. But we just got the note from our production here. So let's quickly jump into our first game here of the Spring Rumble on our first map on Sunday Mall.
Yes, Sir Leonard. We're jumping into the game itself, and just an update for you guys. GSF has chosen fortification for their vision, whereas Axron has chosen robotics. I'm not really a big fan of fortification in any matches at all, but I'm guessing that they have their own plans right here. Probably they're gonna be prioritizing more on basically some benefits I do enjoy, such as the weapon crew support, where the barracks automatically replenish the weapons crew members for free. So I would assume that they will be playing on some of the support crews in this match for GSF side, whereas they also have the anti-armor defense coming up from the side, and of course the M34 Hellspawn, which, you know, it's I highly doubt they're picking this fortification for the purpose of this, but probably, you know, we'll see how it goes. But for Axron side, robotics, what's your take on this?
Honestly, for me, previously, when it comes to Sunday Mall at that time, if you were to go for robotics, it feels like a really terrible. It feels like a terrible commander ability at the time, mainly because of how short and how small these corners and these angles and these alleys are, how tight they are and compact, allowing a lot of things to really mess with those iron guards since they're not really that fast either way. However, with the respective changes with some of the map wise, including the roof access, I would say that the robotics is actually pretty decent here, and just knowing with the timing of the placement of those iron guard drops will be quite crucial and quite detrimental to the opposing GSF teams. But with fortification, however, Flavor, it works two ways, because not only do they have the capability to shred iron guards with the M34's Hellfires, but they also have the ability to actually mess with with heavy armor vehicles with those landmines. I guess you could say pretty much it's multitasking in this case, in this map.
Wait, can the Hellspawns really take down on the iron guards? I thought the flamethrowers.
Oh yeah, they shred.
Oh really?
They shred.
Oh
the
yeah, the
flamethrower
fireballs,
shred, man.
the long range fireballs. Yeah, okay. It's either they use that or because I know it's less capable dealing with armor targets, so I'm not sure whether it's good, but probably a long range, you know, option here.
Yeah, it really paid dividend for Street to Hell going for the fortification. It might go a little bit, it might go quite bad if they actually went for the other mods. But in this way, looks like Team 01 making full use of the two initial iron guards, which you actually get from the fabricator this time, and they put it to for maximum efficiency as they mow down two core members here of Straight to Hell. That gave them quite a decent control towards the lead, towards the point point itself. But now the rest of the squad, let's see what Beetle plans to do here.
Yeah, and seeing from the victory points from both sides, I think Team 01's just leading just because they had a head start on, you know, flipping B to it's on the end, but right now it's on neutral, so they're at a standstill right now, but Straight to Hell just down to 472 victory points left. Now, we look at the resource points coming from both sides. It's siding a little bit more on the Axron side in terms of credits, as well as in terms of energy, so that's going to give them a little bit of edge right here. But in the meantime, we also see that there's more resources on the GSF side because they're not spending much right now, probably focusing more on their upgrades and saving it for later. Axron dispatching a lot of units right here. I believe that they're trying to actually get an early start right here. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Going up against alone on Anchor together with some supporting units by his side as well. The Mule is on standby. They're going to be capturing this very, very easy.
It's really great. It's like the commander on the Axron side for Team 01 is always ensuring that each of his team is actually getting the necessary unit reinforcement pad with his side here. Beetle, on the other hand, is trying to maintain and keep that iron gun alive as long as possible, both having the respective battle suit to keep it alive. But sadly, Digesta had to quickly recharge as they lost their shields. The grenade launcher coming from the high ground vantage point double grenade launchers, do I have to add on to that as well, is really putting in the pain towards Beetle's squad here, making him no choice but to down to literally fall back here
Oh,
and no
he
longer able to
shot.
shield the guard.
Oh, he shot the guy down. Pluto is now down on the ground. But I think they're trying to actually move forward. They're trying to clear out. The Iron Guards is almost down. Managed to heal up a little bit more right here, but drone units are chasing him. Anchor trying his possible bash right here, but the support coming from behind. Anvil trying to support his teammate, which is currently down. He does not have the time to actually bring him back up again. The pressure is in. GSF going crazy right here, putting pressure on this spot. But unfortunately, in terms of the victory points, basically have not flipped any, and A and C is actually on Team 01 side. So Exron having the lead right now, 500 to 376. Probably would be best for the Exron side, sorry, for the GSF side to actually be more objective in this. I think the two focus, Exron side is just catching their attention, like they got to focus on killing but not objectives. This is becoming a big issue.
It really is going to start. It really is going to start peeling on them for sure here. And the thing is this, how great it was for the fact that that one Iron Guard along with the two other members was able to pull in all this attention here. But the intention for the external side is they are happy to diverse all this presence to themselves so they can prioritize on the other side. Look on the A side right now. The amount of resource points they have literally control for themselves. At this point, they have already controlled 3/4 of the maps here worth of resources here. And all they did was just only had one Iron Guard and two players to keep the enemies in check while they defend that B side by themselves. And remember, there was no aggression with those Iron Guards. They will always keep, the commander was keeping those Iron Guards at a distance just to hammer them the damage, but also not exposing it too much.
Yep, that is true. And there's something I really don't like about Sunday Mall is by having that side B and C next to each other. Like if you're on the Exron side and you have the C and you have the B together, to protect the C, all you have to do is ensure that you do not lose the B. Therefore, there's no way GSF can actually push further north, unless somebody was sneaky enough to go behind your backs unnoticed. And the thing about A is that it's so far on the left side right here. That's the best place for you to compete. You can see that GSF trying to level best to actually get some catch-up points on the left side of the map, going off for the A. That's my issue with Sunday Mall. Like B and C, like if you're on GSF side, if you have C and B, all you have to do is defend C so that the other side will have trouble capturing that point, and then now they have to push even further into B.
Yeah, but anyway, Anchor definitely not having the best of time, getting a lot more tagged and down a little bit too more than usual here. But here comes the rest of the reinforcement and the team to come in to give them nice support. He should be able to have his abilities up soon as well. And the grenade launchers are connecting so painfully, forcing Anchor currently out of his current defensive spot here, further back into the back line. But of course, he can't spend too. He can't give chase too much here. Anchor from the GSF side because reinforcements are coming in. 3 scouts here, depending on how well positioned, it can be proved quite detrimental. Anchor spotted out the scouts, just falls back to play a little bit more safe. But let's quickly change our cam towards the B side here, where it seems like a little bit more of a standstill between both sides.
Yep, and I believe that I think that's the Omicron tank, right? For the Extron side. Yeah, I think the Omicron side, they've already dished out one of them to actually come out.
That's the crawler.
This will be very... Yeah, this will be... Is that a crawler? Yeah, sorry, my apologies. So there was a crawler, so I guess they're bringing out the units even faster right now. They don't have much on the Exron side, but they're more towards quality than quantity. And GSF is going with quantity and losing really, really fast. I'm surprised they're not playing around too much with their support units. I think that would be really, really helpful. But since they're on the offensive side right now rather than the defensive side, I guess, it's an option, but it's a bit more slower pace.
Oh man, that is so dirty as well. He managed to not only get away with it, but also was able to take someone out in the process. That's why it's so amusing to try to deal with this Ace Vanguards on top of bio objectives as well. There's so much mobility just able to get you out of those really tight spots, despite being cornered down in. But eventually, he finally goes down here because the Rook Iron Guard has finally met in the way, and the support crawler is already sort of set out in the middle of the crowd on the pathway as well. Doesn't really matter how much actual squads he has, and I think that there's only one mortar squad, it's definitely not going to be enough to pop that shield. That Phalanx crew really has to put in quite the number and quite the work, but I don't think it's going to be able to last for too long because Castle is currently really pushing quite deep behind the petrol station and will be in position soon to flank from the backside. The Iron God Cause comes in, but here comes the respective reinforcement from the base defense turrets.
Yeah, placing out the barracks on the outside perimeter. I guess they want to they want to come out with their units even faster right here. Good idea. Oh, but the chip is coming in here from Anvil from the outside. If they take down the barracks, but little does he know, behind the barracks itself, they actually have people fixing up the barracks to ensure this. And I think they've already taken notice of this. The portfolio could not move any more forward right now. The other strike being dropped here on the combatant as well. So I guess this is going to be halting the progression from Exron, and they will not be able to proceed anymore right here. The smoke roller is down to 6. Right? No, it's actually been defeated a little bit more. The shields are down, and it's slowly getting chipped in right here. Things are getting intense right in front. Right, I wouldn't say right in front, right at the doorstep of the GSF base. And Exron is like, hey, you know what? We get it. We're gonna push back.
Unbelievable. The support crawler still survives. If they lost it, it would have been quite costly as well, but it still stayed alive. And there's even Iron God course going to be dropped right between the back line as well. I think it's a little bit too close to the base defense turret, so they will not be able to last long. EMP drops down. That was great. They try to keep them at bay and try to dismantle the Phalanx crew, but finally the EMP has called a halt and put back in its tracks. The Phalanx crew is back on target to start spraying it down. The Rook didn't last for too long, and nor did the defense coming out for the center. That's only left with Anchor to hold down the line for as long as possible. Just quite shocked that the drones actually did target him first.
Yep, that's so true. And Anvil as well as Castle has to go back off. Their naughty little tricks chipping onto the base from a distance has been put to a halt, and well, they're gonna come back in a bit, I suppose. Back to the commercial breaks. I guess good defense, but still this is all meant to throw GSF off, and all that. But GSF was smart enough, knowing that Exron was trying to actually distract them from pushing and obtaining the victory points. They managed to obtain B, but their A got flipped to neutral. Back again. Will Exron be obtaining A this time about from GSF? Yes, they have.
They'll definitely for sure. And just knowing for the fact that with Team 01s, like with Pikitoka and even H-Bomb in the game itself, you're going to be guaranteed for sure multiple flanks will be happening along the sidelines. And the thing is, although we did see some early aggression, that's because of the fact that since they are on robotics and they have this really early power spikes with just having the 2 Iron Guards from the Fabricator and the Iron Guard core drops on top of that, that's a very early game. That's like a really early game power spike, which you definitely would be expecting to see Extra to get some form of control. However, we start seeing things a little bit more slower because not only were they in the lead, because they know they're in the lead, they decided to take this time to start cashing in some of that research and technology advancement here to try to get the scales and the battlefield back in their favor. But of course, remember they are up against fortification as well, so they cannot take their time for too long here, because if they take too long, then that fortification, once all that Phalanx crew has been preset and without any heavy armor to deal with those barracks as well, it's gonna be tough to clear them all out, even with Iron God core drops.
Yep, that's so true. I guess it benefits a little bit on the GSS side for actually taking fortification for the purpose of this, just to defend against all this assault coming from the Axron side. Axron, they don't have much from the end after that continuous assault. Right now, they're down to just, if you look at the amount of infantries right now they have right there, they only have like a number of units from their end that they cannot do much. 7 scouts, basically 3 Iron Guards, and 1 mule on their end. And basically there's a lot more coming in from the GSF side and producing even more. So I guess this is the best time for them to actually push. But they're kind of like heavily pushing it. This is actually inside A, so they're trying to fight for this. GSF manages to actually get one on them. So Team 01 on the offense right now.
They definitely are. And it's like I said before, Team 01 are cashing in all into researchers as well and technology and advancement. So we will not see much unit reinforcement coming in from the commander itself. It's all going to be coming down to the players the key lieutenants to make the way a path, the way for the general to prep those units. However, like what we discussed before, it's still fortification. More phalanx crews being set up, and this is literally the opportune moment for the team member or the commander for Straight to Hell to set up at the respective angles and corners and alleyways to ensure those Iron Guards have no entry to push into the sites. Even with Iron Guard core drops as well, they can't really drop too far behind them, especially on that point B side, because of the fact that it's just too close to those base turret defenses here. But guess what? The first M34 comes in. They find the time that they paid, the amount of points that they sacrificed early game initially has finally paid off. The first M34s are rolling in, and those Iron Guards is going to be having even more tougher time to deal with. Not just on the phalanx crew, but even a tank to deal with it on top of that.
Yeah, the fireballs coming in right here. This is a time for M34 to shine. I believe that Axron is being caught by surprise for this one to come out. Clears out the path and right now bringing in the destruction right here. And of course, the Axron side, they're building their defenses right here on the side. They do know the M34 Hellspawn is there. It's very hard to go unnoticed with the amount of fireballs being shot out from the unit itself. Look at this guy. There's no supporting units behind him. He's going so low on this. Oh, no. He tried to roll over the units, but he missed the field. The units are actually shooting him from behind, decreasing in terms of health, and they also have some supporting units on the side as well from Axron side. Where are the supporting units for GSF? But I guess they don't have any armored, anti-armor weapons on their mice runner. If not, they could actually take down this M34 at a much faster pace. If not, GSF is going to mow them down.
It hurts so much as well, because like the pre-plan was just to try to flank them as quickly as possible and get rid of those phalanxes.
EMP?
But those M34 finally does come up in time here. Nice EMP, and with no defenses, by the way, no phalanx crew, no players, no reliable AI marines to guard this M34. It is pretty much good and dead to rights here, and it will crash and burn. Well played coming in from the side here of Team 0 or Anchor in this case, with the Mazer in hand to really melt it out. The mule really paid off, as it was already assigned to Anchor to really deal with it as well. That's one loss which is a little bit painful for Straight to Hell to experience, but they still have the respective angle hold on. Just look at it. There's literally mortar squads pushing everyone back home.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm a little bit confused on why they actually pushed out the M34 Hellspawn alone the whole time and not have any backups to ensure to give a little bit of protection right there. It was one easy EMP and that's it, by gathering all the units and taking it down. So it was a waste of resource, I would say. We did manage to clear out a few from Axron side, but yeah, was it worth it? Like all that being spent on an M34?
No, you see, that's the thing, right? It's because of the diversion, right? Because as he was controlling the M34, he noticed that he could not afford to lose the barracks, and he noticed that his barracks was being attacked. So his attention span was focused more on defending the barracks on point B, leaving the M34 all by itself to die. Although yes, there is the phalanx crew there to sort of defend it, but the M34 was blocking its line of sight. So it was, I guess you could say, a blind spot that Anchor used to exploit to get rid of that M34 easily. So in other words, comms was great for Team 01. Straight to Hell, although yes, the points is not decreasing as significantly as initially, but it is slowly being whittled down here. And that Rook Iron Guard is really going to be quite the nuisance. Beetle really needs to push in alongside with Pluto, but Anchor has been anchoring down on the side, being its sole guardian of this Rook Iron Guard and defending. Look at the communication coordination, right? The Rook Iron Guard is also being controlled by the commander, and now the scouts are slowly rolling in to defend the site. They know how important this point A as it is, and Anchor is the only one holding it down by itself. Agent Suit trying to defend. The Omnicron light tank is even here as well. Couple of EMP grenades also being thrown to the line, so I try to force them out. But Pluto has finally found the opening here. They're trying to get to the back part, the Achilles heels of the Rook Iron Guard, and it finally goes down. But Anchor is still holding the ground, but he couldn't last for too long. He's still alive, but eventually he too will fall. He's trying to sustain as much as possible, and he still lives. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's trying to sustain right now. He held up so long. He tried to provide support for the Iron Guard itself. He did, unfortunately, actually lost out on here. The pressure coming up with GSF a little bit too much, but he did manage to hold on as long as possible right here, and he's not leaving yet. He still has Eximius providing a little bit of cover for him. Even the Omicron is still there shooting on these guys, but man, I think the Omicron is going to be gone, or Bad Drone is going to be taken down together with him, and they're going to be able to actually get this credit resource point for themselves. All right, yeah, I think Exron managed to steal it from them and get an advantage in terms of the credit resource, but right now it's going to go back into GSF. Whew, this is a very close match coming from both sides. Team 0-1 having a huge lead at the start, straight to hell, slowly chipping in at their victory points.
It is tough. But here comes the Iron core draws, but just drop. My God, he dropped it dead set in the middle of everything that's there. The Phalanx crew is having the time of his life and is straight down away. But most importantly, also really well played, done by Anchor or Pluto. Not sure who's actually playing the Ace Vanguard battlesuit here, but he deployed those drones at the moment it dropped down. That way the Iron core was actually more focused on getting rid of those drones instead of the Marines that was actually staggered around in the middle. So really well played stuff. It's really this kind of small things that sort of help determine how the fight might go. But look at this, mortar cruise, grenade launcher trajectory, and by the way, that's the super frag package as well. So that's an upgraded one, and it hurts so much. My God.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a pain right here, but of course the dispersal and all this. Yeah, these little plays are the ones that's actually gonna catch. I think it can be solved if the commander were to actually micromanage the Iron Guard itself during this moment. But I believe that at hand, as a commander, you have to do a lot of stuff at the same time as well. If needed, you have to go down to the battlefield and join in. But yeah, I think that's a little bit too much to handle. But still, kudos to Anchor for that great effort in that fight itself. Now, things are progressing quite well right here. I believe that the upper hand is going towards Team Straight to Hell GSF side. They're 203 to 271. Team 01 trying to force this push on side B and trying, I think they're close to actually getting it. A is a little bit in the stalemate side, sending towards GSF. Anchor is deep. Why is Anchor, is it just me, or Anchor is sneakily going? How did he get Hurricane? It's okay. Yeah, I was just looking at A side. I was just observing the map. Like, why is Anchor? How is Anchor in like a GSF side of the map and missed out on A? It's okay. I have.
No, I can't. I totally understand where you're coming from as well. Sometimes the coloring, it can sort of catch you off guard as well. But it looks like the the IFV does comes in. The EMP also drops out at an opportune moment as well. The IFV was actually there to actually try to deal with as much of this Iron Guard core drops initially here, but that EMP is sort of buying the necessary amount of time. Anchor is trying to get into position with the maze. No one is there to really defend it as much as possible. They can only hope that the Iron Guard core try to whittle it down as much as possible. Sorry, not the maze. The G12 comes in, and the IFV does go down very cleanly as well. There's a couple of Marines, no lieutenants or captain players on the side, so this is going to be an easy clear for Anchor. On the other hand, Iron Guard Course is actually going to be trying to send 2 to the back line to see if he can actually try to check out what's happening towards the back. Does spot the final crew is still there, but it doesn't matter. They got the point back. There is no way for Team 01 or Straight to Hell to take point B or C at this moment. But at this point, Team 01, all they can really do, the reason why they're putting as much bodies on this side is because they just want to distract the commander. They want to say like, hey, you do not want to send units to A. If you do, we're going to casually blow up your barracks, which is literally the only thing that's sustaining all this Phalanx crew here.
Yeah, they didn't want to let go of the barracks. GSF right now, to my expectations on this kind of match right now at how it's progressing is that I would expect them to actually dish out more support crews because they're having the fortification division and probably a little bit more on point defense. They do have 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. I believe this is an upgrade in the bottom 2. I guess I couldn't catch where they actually placed them on a point defense, but that's already being played out. Yeah, but Exron, they're just playing robotics. Basically picked out robotics. They're just dishing out, Iron Guards after Iron Guards after Iron Guards. That's the whole plan. That's it. They're not playing around with any of the vehicles right here on their end, except for crawlers, a little bit of Omicron tanks. Beyond all that, I don't think they're playing anything like any Sigma Oculus or anything.
Oh, Pluto was so close as well. But then again, he did manage to neutralize the point though, trying to make it more balanced. So no more additional points will be decreased and taken away for Streak to hell. He keeps it alive. Anchor comes in and he cleans up his own counterpart here. Well done. Now he keeps the side alive. And because this is robotics as well, he doesn't have to physically be present to take the point back. He can leave it to the commander with the muse to bring it back to the game. And with the Iron God cores, he's keeping things really nice to sustain. But guess what? A nice crawler rolling into the back line. He says, "I don't need the crawler. It's taking up all this. It's taking up all this. All my unit space here." He just drives it to the back line and tries to do as much damage as possible.
Oh, look at this. Even though the Axeron, basically, even though Anchor managed to actually obtain the capture point, all he needs to do right now is just clear the small infantries coming from GSF side. As easy as that. Using the mule as a body block right in front of him. Easy clear. Waste of resources for... Oh, but Templar is actually over there as well. For the proximity, I'm unsure. Can we actually see, like, physically, visibly see the proximity mines?
If you're talking about us, yes, we can't see the
no,
range,
I
but we can definitely see
not
the
us.
mine.
I mean like the enemies. We can see it.
They can only see it when it gets into range. They can definitely see it for sure. It's not hidden from their eyes. You know, unless they were too focused on somewhere else and they walk into it. Then yeah, I know there's mines here, guys. Don't walk in it.
I think it was planted earlier on right here. So as mentioned just now, all Anchor has to do right now is just defend this point and make sure that's the tough part. When the enemy actually has the capture point, you need to clear them out, or they're just gonna keep chipping on you to stop you from reflipping back the capture point from back. Yeah, so that's an advantage for you taking on that point itself. It's time consuming. It's also time consuming for you to take it over back, especially when it has defense. Here is where all the action is. B and C. Once again, the defense coming on from GSF side. They don't want to lose out this B side right here. If you can defend here, then you don't have to worry so much from push coming from the Exron side. So at least your defensive units are actually more to the front rather than trying to protect this barracks right here. It is still surviving to this day.
They're really giving their all here because like I said before, they're throwing all the bodies towards this B side, and this time he has committed not just one Rex, but he's also going to throw out a second one as well. What this means is the fact that he is sort of guaranteeing himself that okay, it's fine. I don't need to have to commit all of my units here. I have 2 Rexes. Veto coming in with a nice airstrike coming from the sideline, but Sally, it just couldn't do the full damage because the Rex finally drops down. The second Rex comes in, the EMP drops, but then again, there is no one to actually follow up with the damage. And even if there was, Tundra comes in, drops in the air drones here, and it's proving quite dividend for the sidelines.
Yeah, I think they're just chipping in bit by bit on the barracks, knowing that it is working by bit by bit. It's gonna be a little bit time consuming. Meanwhile, I guess for GSF side, they have to go in from the sidelines, trying to take down these guys from a distance. You can see this is where the battlefield is, and it's easy for Axron side. They just have to be full offensive. They're actually much more forward compared to GSF. As long as they ensure that they keep the pressure on, there's no way that GSF side can actually capture point C. So you just keep the pressure on, if you can take down the barracks once again. I think right now the barracks should be fully healed, fully repaired for GSF side. But yeah, Axron did manage to achieve CC before. Okay, going back again, Anvil Castle.
Dude, and the worst part about it is like I said before, with the second Rex there, now the commander can start diverting some forces towards that A side, and that's pretty much why we see the A side taking a little bit more longer than usual to actually take it back. And look at it, he's spamming more Marines because he's so confident for the fact that okay, I got a second Rex, I got a lot of mortars this time, and everyone's like fully upgraded with grenade launchers as well. And remember, Marines are more cheaper than usual now, so he can just pretty much spam it and start Zerg rushing into the enemy just to chase them back. If he can mow them down, it's great. But if he can just push them away from the central part of the map, it's already sort of a win for the GSF side. And with that, look at the amount of Marines coming to reinforce at the sidelines. The Iron Guards has no choice but to be pushed all the way to the back line to clear as much as possible because they just want to capture this point back. Iron Guards are falling down left and right. He has to sacrifice crucial units as well to create the space necessary. It looks like the Rook Iron Guard with that final shot was able to mow down Anchor before he get into the covenant time, and that's gonna be absolutely great. However, Pluto holding down the line, the Guardian just mowing down with the LMG AP rounds as well. He's ensuring like no one's gonna take that point, not while I have my sights on it. But then again, as hope started to lose hope, as the Iron Guard cross flanks into the sidelines, M34 rolls in, folks. But the MP timing drops right on schedule.
Yeah, but they did manage to actually clear the Iron Guard core right here. The chipping is coming on from the Aggron, trying to clear on M34 Hellspawn. It is still in shutdown mode right now, but down to 3.5k HP. Can they actually bring it down before it causes more damage to the Aggron team right now? We are almost to the late game right now. I can't believe I'm saying this. We're 29 minutes in. We're closing to a half an hour mark for the first match of the day, for facing the first round of the day. Holy,
oh my God. Like, Flavor, you
Oh no,
yeah?
sorry, yeah.
No, you were saying, sorry?
No, so how I wish, like, if GSF manages to sustain the M34 Hellspawns like for much longer duration, they could actually have an upper hand, you know, above and beyond compared to where they are at right now. It's such a shame that, you know, every time they came out with the M34 Hellspawn, it gets taken out real quick, gets taken down. They didn't have much support on their end, so yeah. And right now, just looking at the victory point score for both sides, Straight to Hell 118 and Team 01 at 140. We're jumping into the third phase of things once they go down to less than 100 victory points for both sides.
God, those motor crews are so disgusting. My God, Castle doesn't even have enough time to have a breather at all. Every time he wants to get back to the fight, he loses his shields again and has to reach back. Anvil even has to be pushed back so far. But you know, the thing is this, right? Despite how this game is happening on this B and C side, this classic tug of war stalemate fire or artillery fire between both sides, the real battle is actually happening on that A side. No one cares what's happening on the B and C. It's simple. Both sides are currently at a standstill here, on a Mexican standoff. But the A side is the one with the least defenses here, the least committed units by the commander here. So it is a battle between wits and skills and firepower on this A, and whoever takes A will be determining the game. That's why we see this point shift between both sides here, because initially Team 01 was in the lead because of that early boost and firepower here, but now Straight to Hell almost brought it back. But Team 01 with objective and impact plays, they brought the game back in their favor here, and we're tied neck to neck. Straight to Hell should be having their tier 3 reinforcement right about now as well. That's M33s rolling in with a lot of units here, and that's going to see whether it proves dividend as they make this final push for this A, as the commander commits everything. Look, even Anchor and Pluto are on the way.
Yeah, I think right now GSF side, Straight to Hell needs to actually make a play right now. They can't afford to actually be on the defensive side. They need to ball in, go force the A. It's a little bit tough because they can't afford to loosen up their defense on B. If they manage to capture A and lose out their B, then that's going to be very, very troublesome. They can't afford to lose the B at all. Now, Omega right tank is being pushed to a corner right here. It's going to be taken down really easy. Last financial right here, EMP being dropped off, but not securing anything right here. They may be able to capture this one. Can they do it? Anchor, well, here's the thing. Oh, the light tank is still here. They're not dying. The job is still not done. Straight to Hell down to 52 victory points right here. Can they? Anchor has been defending this point for the longest time. Oh, but this time about almost done.
Oh no.
Shields are down. Anchor is down. Finally. This is what I said. I think they need to go balls deep into it and just take it over. Just sort it out with. Well, this is happening. Hopefully things are not going sour on the B side. Yep, just go for the capture. They flipped it to neutral and they're going to take over this. And this is going to reduce the victory points for Team 01. They had no choice. That was the moment that they had to flip it.
Oh, it was so crazy as well. If they just hold it slightly longer and beat that M33, then they could have seen they could have seen the finish line. They were literally, I can tell you this right now, Flavor. They were halfway out the door, but straight to hell came in. The commander just slams her back and say, "Hey, I saw that artillery coming in. I have my eyes on that site. My M33 ain't gonna go down like my M34s. No way, absolutely no way." And sadly, the Iron God course, he dropped to the back line and left it unattended. That's going to be a waste of those Iron God cores for sure. Another set of M34s, but they realized, you know what, hey, it's time to shift the gears and send it to the right side. Let's try to flush out as many of these players and Iron Gods or whatever units that's left behind here out of that little tiny holes here. Let us scurry away like little rats. But then again, he can't leave it unattended as all, because if he leaves it for too long, it's gonna get slowly picked off, like this G12 coming in from our dear friend Anchor. Or Anvil,
Yep.
sorry.
Yeah, just by looking at the amount of units that they have from GSF side, they definitely have the upper hand right here. The M34 Hellsbounds, they have much more units. They have the support crews as well, and at the same time, they also have the Guardian Trooper on their side. They have a unit of this. I've not seen this guy yet, but yeah, they have one of them. In the meantime, we look at Exron Industries. They are heavily relying on the Iron God cores. They have 4 of them, and right now they're dishing out the Templars on their hand. They screw the Scouts. All right, let's go with Templars. All the way right now, we're going into late game, and hopefully it's work. 1 mule on their end. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, they lost it. They lost the Guardian Trooper. Yeah. Unfortunate. It's okay. They just have to defend this. GSF can actually do this, but Team 01, I believe that B and C is a lost cause, meaning that there's no point trying to force this. I believe that the amount of defenses coming up from both sides are quite heavy.
Come on!
Go for it. Hey, like, but this is big. Oh no, Beetle! Does he realize it? No.
Oh
no! Wait, but he managed to flip it to neutral, but he wasn't watching his back. Okay, right now we are at a standstill. It is 1-1, B to GSS, C to Agron, and Avery to neutrals. Oh, he's gonna get it! No! GSF, 40 points left. Can he do this? Anyone?
He's done it.
No, there's no one here. Holy.
Flavor, they've done it. They have done it, and they did it without the need of the tier 3 reinforcement troops. The timing of those Iron God core drops to the back line, not only did it punish Pluto, but even finish off Anchor, who was midway running away with the tails between his legs, as the true Guardian Anchor of Team 01 comes in to flush him out. And now without even wasting a single unit coming in from the tier 3 drop, now they can
I feel
the
that
sites once again. Yeah, you feel bad. Why?
Man, okay, here's the thing, right? I think
Right.
get it that they tried to do the same. I get it, they tried to do the same as, what Anchor did earlier, but it just didn't work, Anchor was like one-man defense, and GSF tried to do the same, and they lost it real quick. They just got it, and they lost it back to the Exron. I think this is GG. Like, the defense coming from Exron's side, there's no way they can actually push this A.
Oh my god. And oh my god, Anchor B, so the brave and the bold here died to the backline of EMP. Artillery drops at the same time. He finds Pluto. He's getting a little bit down low. He's trying to get the rest as many people as possible, but he couldn't. He was so close as well. They're so down low. The Demolisher has to spray the ball. He sprays and he prays. Anchor's still alive. He mows down 3 players, and Axeron will take the first game. Woo!
This is so painful to watch. I feel bad for GSF. It felt like that last moment at capture point A was so crucial. Like, if they managed to defend that and just mow down the victory points coming from Exdron, it could have made it a win. But Exdron was like, you know what, compared to what our previous defense, because they're going on offense, they had to bring in more troopers on their end. And GSF thought they could actually do the same thing, like how, how Anchor did, but no, they did not manage to actually do so. He got caught real bad, blind spots everywhere. Yeah, I think that's gonna be that's a big blow, to GSF. Yeah.
It really was as well. And the thing is they were, especially when you play with fortification, you're so dependent on just trying to get as many units and just set up as much as possible here. The B side, don't get me wrong, the B side was an excellent hole for sure. But the individual plays being made by Team 01's Anchor in particular as well. My god, time and time again. This guy is just like holding down the line. He's literally an anchor from a ship when they let down the anchor to ensure the boat ain't gonna move. He ain't gonna move. The unmovable here. But of course, with that great first match for sure, we're gonna be taking a quick short 5 minutes break. So don't go away for too long. More Eximius action happening to you guys right after this.
We'll see you guys.